Mauricio Pochettino has a Chelsea press conference with so much information, we're literally going to be sitting at the edge of our seats breaking it down. We've got Ben Chilwell out for a considerable period of time. We get a timeline for when Reece James could be back. 2 Chelsea players are back for the Fulham game. We've got Pochettino confirming, basically, we are going to sign more players. He literally said that. He's part of the process and we are going to actively chase players. We'll talk about what. Oh, and is he going to give David Washington a start? Let's get into it. Let's break this down. It's a great video. Welcome to the Kavkas View, brother. In today's video, we are breaking down the press conference, and you saw the running order, and it was good. Pochettino today gave me a little bit of a mean streak. What I saw from Pochettino today when he got one stupid question that we will cover first was literally what I want to see. Sometimes reporters ask absolutely idiotic questions, and this was one of them because they know the answer. They're trying to trigger it. The way he answered it was so eloquent. It was very, very well presented to the media to basically say, you're an idiot, get out of my face, next question. But before we get started, I need you lot to do me a massive favor. I want you lot to hit the like button because that's the best way you can support the channel. And secondly, if you're new to this channel, subscribe to the channel. We are crawling up to 31,000. It's been a very slow month for subscriptions, but I'm telling you now, views are starting to pick back up. You lot are enjoying it. Retention, 70% of you, like, retention. That's mad, man. Thank you very much. All right, let's get started. Pochettino started with a very good question asked to him. They asked him about Ben Chilwell, what's going on? He confirms Ben Chilwell's going to be out. He doesn't know how long for, but it seems like based on his reaction and the way he's talking about it, it's going to be weeks, people. It is a hamstring injury on the same leg that he injured last year. However, Pochettino did confirm, and this was very interesting to see, this wasn't like a re-aggravated injury. This wasn't because of poor peak condition. This was due to contact. Contact injuries happen. You can't control them. You can be walking down the street, someone bumps into you, fall over, dislocate your shoulder. It can happen. And it's one of those things. On a football pitch, there is increased risk of a challenge occurring that hurts you. So in this case, we can't complain at the medical staff and nothing of the sort. If anything, the medical staff did the right thing for keeping Ben Chilwell off the pitch because it could have got worse if he came back on like certain fans wanted him to do. Then he started talking about Reece James and he gave us some clarity that Reece could be back potentially, not for this game, but the game after against Burnley. And this is a good place to stop to talk about the stupid question that was asked. So Moose from TalkSport asked him, do you think after £1 billion, you should have more than enough cover to not deal with this kind of problem? And Pochettino didn't understand the question. He basically hit him with the no comprendo, no habla inglés, por favor, ask us repeat the question. He repeated it, they went back and forth, and then Poch understood it because someone in Spanish asked him the question. And Pochettino basically said, we've got Ben Chilwell and we've got Reece James. Arguably the best fullbacks in the world. Arguably the best in their position, and yet when they get injured, we've got cover. We've got Malo Gusto, who's a very good right back. We've got Mark Cucurella, and we've got Levi Cole, very good left back. So technically, if you look at it from a logical standpoint, because the journalist was just fishing, but he's being a little bit stupid because that's what he's being, all right? They spent the money. They went and got Malo. They spent the money. They went and got Cucurella. They spent the money in the sense of developing Levi Colwell to come into the squad through the Cobham Academy. So technically, we have got cover there. Like, what do you want him to do? Buy 3 left backs? At this moment in time, we have 3 left backs in the book. And guess what? Ben's injured. We got 2 others. I think people need to stop with this. You need to have 2 amazing players for each position. And he said to him, so what? Why don't you have 2 amazing players in the position? And Poch was like, who said that? Me. I've never said that. Talk about me. And I loved it because he shut him down. He made an example out of him, and that's exactly what you need to do as a manager, because some of these journalists ask stupid questions. You can't have 2 Reece Jameses. I don't know what fantasy land people live in. People say Manchester City have 2 players in each position. Who are the 2 players in each position? Please let me know. Manchester City have 15 to 16 great players. Everyone else is youth team player or a scrub. Like, realistically speaking, you can't have 22 world-class players on a squad because players want to play, and Poch was explaining it, and it was so nice and so refreshing for him to just stick it on a report. What was also very interesting was the way he spoke about the injury. Looks like our fortunes are slightly turning. Carney Chukwuemeka is back and he's ready to go. Carney Chukwuemeka at this moment in time is in full training. He's ready to play maybe a little bit of a role on Monday night. And I'm actually very excited for that to happen because I think Carney's got a lot of attributes that we are missing from this. Carney can play in that 8 role and compete with Cole Palmer. And I really want to see it. It's something that I think in the long run, Chelsea are really going to flourish from. Like having the ability of Cole Palmer and Carney Chukwuemeka fight for one role, having Caicedo and Lavia fight for another role, and having Enzo and Gallagher fight for another role. Not that Enzo and Gallagher will be much of a battle. But what I do think is interesting is that he went on to speak about other players and saying how just basically the rehabilitation is all going well. But Noni and Carney should be back. Reece the week after. That's all I want to hear. There's no fresh injuries. Love that outside of Ben Chilwell. What I also found interesting, and this was the big one, and this will be the big talking point, is that Poch is playing with a false 9. And the reason I say Poch is playing with a false 9 is because it was very evident in how he spoke about the number 9 role. He just said, Nico's out, he's suspended. He didn't mention Broja at all. And he also said, we're waiting for Armando and Christopher to develop back to full fitness. But before that, we need to make sure we put a competitive team and adapt. He was very key to saying adapt. He was also really reiterating about the false 9. He didn't say it in verbally, but you could hear what he was saying. You need to make best do from a great situation. You need to use the right pieces. And for me, guys, I'm telling you now, this is a fact. This is not feelings. We are going to play with Raheem Sterling at the 9, Cole Palmer on the left, Mudryk on the Cole Palmer on the right, Mudryk on the. The reason we're going to play Raheem Sterling at the 9 is because he doesn't trust Armando Broja after playing only 33 minutes this season. He's not ready to play, and he doesn't trust David Washington. And this is where now people are going to ask me this question, and I'm going to have to answer honestly. Whilst David Washington most probably is going to be baby Benzema or baby Luis Suarez, that's what I've heard from what I've read. Right? And this is the hype that people are bringing up whenever we sign these kids. He is baby David Washington at this moment in time. He's a nobody. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just mean he hasn't built his name. He's nobody in the game. He's most probably a very talented kid, but he's a kid that's only played 400 minutes of Serie A football. You look at his build, he's very timid, he's very small. He looks like he's going to get eaten for breakfast by the Fulham defender. He doesn't look very explosive, and more importantly, I don't think many of us have watched him play that much. So I've read that he's played in 2 games for the EPL2 side. I know he scored on one of them, but the first one they said he just looked unfit. Guys, Chelsea have bought him for the future. And more importantly, and I think this is the key one that you need to appreciate, him just training with Chelsea's first team is making him better. I was reading this thing where like Rio Ferdinand was saying, one of his teammates at Manchester United was just saying, every day I feel like training is harder than an actual match, because he was competing against Rio, Vidic, like Evra, and that level of defense that when it came to the weekend, it was easy. So hopefully for David, he's going to get so used to competing against Thiago Silva, Levi Colwell, Badiashile, and Disas, to the point where he will become ready, he'll get stronger, he'll become more athletic. And then when he's unleashed onto the Premier League, we're not burdening. And the final avenue of what we need to cover today is the fact that Poch basically confirmed more signings. They asked Pochettino, are you involved in acquiring the next batch of players? And he was just like, look, during the season, I like to concentrate on the team. However, I do have an input. Myself, the sporting directors, and the owners, we sit down and we discuss targets. I have a big impact on who is going to get signed. Guys, I am telling you now, we are getting more players in January. We are getting experienced players in January. Us getting burned start of the season this year is arguably the best thing that could happen to this project. If we started off beautifully with a lovely run of wins, I'm telling you, the owners, the directors, hey, you know what? We don't need experience. We'll just keep buying young players. The fact that we started with 1 win in 6 games, there's a bright spark. Look at that. We will know that we need experience and we can't just throw youth at the issue. And in this case, I think Pochettino is actively going to get what he wants. We're even going to go for an Osimhen, maybe, in the summer next year, or Ivan Toney this year. One of the two is going to be in the Chelsea kit. That's my prediction. I don't know anything. I'm just literally predicting based on what I've read. I think we are also going to most probably get another defender, because Pochettino, look, Thiago Silva is going to get injured at one point. Like, he's 39 years old. There's no way he can keep playing consistently. But it is what it is. But it was just very eye-opening to see that at this moment in time, Pochettino is very open and transparent about saying that he is involved with players. But guys, this was the Kavkas View. Hit the like button, let me know. But Chelsea don't play till Monday, which is jarring because it means that we got 2 days of me having to find content. And more importantly, no Chelsea this weekend. It's actually annoying. Peace out. I'm out. Have a lovely day.